All right, all right. We are live once again. I am so happy to have Sonja Gunter on our show tonight as a guest. And I'm just going to read something off real quick. So bear with me as I read. Sonja Gunter is an LPN for 20 years. She's a licensed evangelist, which I love. She's a certified dementia practitioner, a certified Alzheimer's disease and dementia care trainer. She's the author of a book, Professional Traits of a Healthcare Leader. Sonja is the owner of 3 successful businesses that impact the lives of seniors and their families. Senior 911 is a private duty home care agency. Dementia 911 is a dementia education and staff consulting company. And Angel 911 is a nonprofit that serves families who are caring for loved ones in their homes and needs respite. Sonja also currently serves as a community educator for the Georgia chapter of the Alzheimer's Association and has the honor of leading the outreach and partnership group for the state of Georgia's GARD, which is Georgia's Alzheimer's and Related Disease Collaboration. Sonja is also a well sought after speaker in the Atlanta area and abroad and is passionate about developing leaders in healthcare. That is so awesome. Sonja, welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you. Thank you, Mark. Happy to be here.
Yep. And you are actually on the road as we speak, right?
I am. I am in hot Dallas. I know they say hot Atlanta, but Dallas got Atlanta beat today for
Does
sure.
it really?
Yes, 101, I think I saw on the dash when I came in.
Ooh.
Yes,
Yeah, we've
yes.
had a mild one here so far in Georgia. It's a little bit unique that we haven't, jumped up there in the high 90s. So I'm not complaining. So you can keep the heat there with you. Don't be flying it
Yes,
back. All right.
I promise I won't.
Well, let's get going. I read, of course, some awesome things about you, and congratulations on all your ventures. I am an entrepreneur at heart, and I love entrepreneurship. It
Yes.
makes the world go around. So let's kick it off and tell us a little bit about yourself, if you don't mind.
Sure, awesome. So nurse, and that's been my career path for the past 21 years this year. Matter of fact, July makes 21 years. I've been nursing, and senior industry has been the focus. I'm a business owner, as we talked about, entrepreneurship, and people like to say visionary because I just keep having ideas, and I'm like, okay, wait a minute, God, like not anymore. Wait, let me unload this because they just come and come and come, and I'm like, it's tough, but I'm just all around regular girl who just has desires to do well and to help people and make a difference any way I can.
Well, it looks like you are making a difference, and I think that's awesome.
Thank
And
you.
what we're about to start talking about is actually how I knew have heard of your company, but you and I did not get the pleasure of connecting. And I
Mhm.
saw someone, I think it was Jody Bellum, posted, and
Yeah.
it's about what is home care everywhere and how does it work. So that's how we connected. I am so curious myself, and I'm excited to hear all about it. So, what is Home Care Everywhere? How does it work? How did it come up? Jump in.
You want to get all into business. Absolutely. Oh, and you should because it's excellent app to have. So Home Care Everywhere is a mobile app available on iOS and Google Play stores. It's going to come out on iOS a little sooner than Google Play. Still waiting for them to give the two thumbs up. They've given one, but waiting for the second one. But what it is an app. It's and think Uber for home care.
Okay.
So people can download this app for free and caregivers from one side, the customer side, they download the app. All plethora of services that keep you safe at home come up, whether it's bathing, dressing, yard work, cooking a meal, medication reminders, everything that you would call a private home care agency for, but you don't need 4 hour minimums, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're like, I just need somebody to come give mom a bath, get her dressed in the morning, maybe make some eggs and keep going. 2 hours. So
Okay.
now families can control that by requesting just the service that they need. And the caregivers, they get on there and they are uploaded just like Uber would do for a driver. So back office would vet, background check them, all the things. And once the caregivers upload it, they turn their app on and say that they're ready.
You're
And so
available,
now,
right? Okay. All right.
absolutely, you're available. And so when this customer hits the service that they need, if that caregiver has that particular service under their belt or under their profile, they'll get an alert, and customers will see who's nearest how many miles away they are. And the beautiful thing is, Mark, I love it because it benefits both sides. The caregiver sets their rate.
Okay.
So no more agency paying $18 an hour for the caregiver to go and do this, concierge visit. Now the caregiver may say, well, I charge $50 for a bath, and I'll come in and do that for $50. And the customer, now the benefit for them, again, the 4 hour minimum is not there. $120, for 4 hours. Now they're paying 50 just for what they need.
What they
And
need,
so,
right?
absolutely. And so there it is in a nutshell.
And then obviously they'll be able to leave ratings, and obviously, like I said, there'll be background checks all there. I can tell this must be something that came from your awareness because you are an own in-home care agency, right? So it's obviously God gave you the light bulb moment to get involved with this. So what is the relationship with you getting involved between Senior 911 and Homecare Everywhere? How did you connect with that? Uh-oh.
No, I'm joking. I actually created Homecare Everywhere. And so Senior
Okay.
911, it's not Senior 911. Senior 911 is still private duty home care. There's still
Okay.
those that have long-term needs, and we are going to service those as we have always done. But we always get these calls. And so this is an answer to those calls where people say, I can't afford the services. I don't need to pay that kind of money. I just need this. And so that's how Homecare Everywhere was born. And so the relationship is not just customer, B2C. It's actually B2B because other agencies can sign on and have their
Okay.
caregivers and clients, uploaded on there and maybe get a code. But there's things where we're working with to collaborate with other agencies as well as we pilot this, and also with communities, right? So
Okay.
caregiver,
Yes.
let's say a caregiver's working, right, and they have to
Yeah.
get off, but that caregiver, that client needs a little bit more care. The family can then take that caregiver, put them on the app, or the community can take that caregiver, put them on the app. They make their own money again. The family takes care of the cost. They get that extra care, and the community, it does not have to have that person on their payroll. So they still get that same care, the same continuity, the same person, but the family pays the little extra for that extra care.
Well, congratulations to you for thinking that up. I need to
Yeah.
add that to your bio. What an incredible thing. It's like my mind's going all over the place because just like I had mentioned before the show, and I've mentioned before, my mom's home with hospice. They have
Yes.
24-hour care.
Yes.
And I know I'm preaching to the choir with you. Even as good of a job as your company does, you
Mm-hmm.
can't control other human beings. So if you have, as your company grows, you have staffing needs that grow.
Absolutely.
COVID affected
Oh,
every industry on the planet, and there's not as many good quality caregivers in the space as it used to be. What's so awesome about this is it gives people the chance to have the right heart, they have the right character, they have the right skill sets to be able
mm-hmm.
to penetrate and come in here because we have actually retired nurses
Yes.
so we're getting it at $20 an hour. So you can see, obviously, we're
Yes.
getting a deal to actually
Yes.
have not CNAs, we have nurses
Yeah. For
at
20
20
bucks
an
an hour.
hour because,
Yeah.
but if it was a company, it'd be 28, 35 an hour,
For
right?
nurses. Yeah. Easily.
Yeah. And,
Yeah.
and like you're saying, the no minimums, someone, this is such a tremendous thing, Sonia, to help families that are already struggling financially. To where,
Absolutely.
like you're saying, I just need help with I just need a bath
That's
or
it.
or whatever it is.
That's it.
And the app is and it's like they're raising their hand. I'm available.
That's it.
I'm 2 miles away.
And
Hire
it's so
me.
great for caregivers because they can make extra money.
Absolutely.
And quick, turn the app on after they leave work.
Mm,
And if something hits in their area, they just go run, do it, and do the bath, and come on out. I mean, and my heart just goes to both sides again because I see the family need. I am a
mhm,
family in need, right?
mhm,
My mother with my father, and the care that they need. And then on the other side, you have caregivers who are excellent at what they do. They
mhm.
don't make enough money. I know I'm not going to get onto that soapbox,
Yeah.
but the money out there, the work they
Mhm.
do, seriously, the work they
I
they
know.
do, they're not paid efficiently or more enough for it. So now they can set their own rate, be their own boss, almost like their own they're independent
Yeah.
contractors,
Yeah.
and they can set the rate how they need to.
This is fantastic. So I guess the next question would be, where would the services be provided? I know things is obviously you got to start somewhere, right? So where would it be provided? And I'm sure there's a vision and a future goal for it all, but uh, where will it be provided starting out?
So starting out, we're going to take a small market, test market in Kansas City, because we
Okay.
have actual in Kansas City. We're in City 911's business in Kansas City. And one thing we found
Mhm.
out there from our efforts, the workers out there are more gig workers, which we find
Okay.
that in this industry since DoorDash and Instacart, people are making or want gig money, quick, fast, make it and come on out. So
Hmm.
Kansas City, we're finding, has a pool of that in that industry. So we want to open there, and then we're going to open here in Georgia. We're going to be strategic with it, and our caregivers will be uploaded onto the app first. So wherever our concentration of caregivers are is where we're going to open, because we would
Okay.
hate to have clients incoming and all our caregivers are in Covington to start, and
Mm.
it's not effective. So
Right.
we're going to strategically market in the areas where we have caregivers who can accept the call, and then work our way out as it grows. I don't
Mm.
anticipate this taking long to take off. I mean, it's such a need. I believe it's going to really take off.
Well, I'm not just saying this. This could really be a game changer. It really can. I
I
thought,
believe it could be, and when I created it, it wasn't even to be a game changer. It was to be a help, right?
yeah.
And then people started kind of getting word, and they're like, "Oh my gosh!" Even my app developer, he wanted it. He was like, "Listen, let me get just a piece of this, because lady, you're on to something, you know."
Yeah.
So
That
yeah.
is pretty awesome. Well, let's step back a little bit. Let's
Yes.
just discuss home care in general, right? So, with your experience, being a nurse and then having your
Mhm.
own in-home care agency, let's just talk about that in general, and let us, your experiences and what you see the needs are, and maybe some of those things led to why you created, home care everywhere. But just share some thoughts in general for home care.
So home care is that industry, the part of the industry, just as part of the conglomerate senior care, right? Home care is that niche that if families could have it their way, they would have their loved one at home. I mean, it's just it's unspoken. There's some that would say no, I like them better, in a residential community. But most of the reason why they would say that is because they don't have the funds to keep somebody there with their loved one, taking care of them in the comfort of
Hmm.
their home.
Hmm.
So but it's expensive, it's
Yeah.
costly, and I'm hoping to see legislation change and go on the way of supporting this and making it more insurance based to
Hmm.
help people pay for it. And I know there's some insurances do, we know all that, but making it more, very much more accessible to those that need it. But home care is growing. I mean, the senior industry, is tripling by 2050. I mean, we're hitting, the boomers are all aging. It's a need. And home
Yeah.
care, again, keeping people safe at home as long as they can, I think is the way to go.
Yeah. Yeah, over 10,000 people a day are turning 65.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
that's quite a population that's going to continue for quite some time. Because
Absolutely.
I mean, I'm turning 60 this month, and I don't even like to admit that. So I'll be in that category of hopefully later than sooner, but 65 is rapidly knocking on the door.
I
You know,
turned 49 last week, and I'm just like, okay, it's my last year in my 40s. Looking forward to 50, but it comes fast. It
it does
really
come
does. I remember
fast.
turning 40 and somebody
Yeah.
telling me, "What are you doing to prepare for 50?" And I'm like, "God, give me
You're
time to
like,
enjoy
like, let me
40."
breathe.
But it's the truth, right? So what are
Yeah.
we doing 10 years from now? What's the
Yeah.
plan? And
Yeah.
and people my age and even a little younger should be planning for what's next for the
Yeah.
65, because it's going to come, and are we ready?
Yeah. Well, let me ask you this question. Obviously, as an entrepreneur myself,
Mhm.
and the needs that we're seeing, because as a placement agency, we try to uh, really highlight any local placement agency.
Sure.
It's like we can say we're competitors, but I see it as a collaboration,
Has to be.
to where when you're doing something from the heart and you're approaching to make a difference in life, a local placement agency that has that kind of approach is kind of a ministry first, to where you come in
Absolutely.
and you sit down with the family. There's family dynamics you have to deal with. There's different opinions. There's different upbringings, different past, different conditions going on with the mind, depending on the age they're at, their financial situations. Is really coming in and loving on a family and
Absolutely.
trying to help them navigate these decisions. So my approach and my views of the industry is when I see, because hospice obviously doesn't always mean end of life. People can
Right.
actually recover, but when you
Absolutely.
have people that are being caretakers themselves
Mhm.
for their loved ones, and maybe they hire an in-home care agency to offset, then maybe it becomes a full-time in-home care situation. But there's always the times of when a company has to move on from that family and they're going, okay, the next chapter in your life is going to be considering, a private care home or assisted living or memory care. That as advocates, we all share and pass them on and not throw the family out into the streets to figure it out on themselves. So with that said, with your app and families needing care, that obviously means that there's stuff going on in their life. How does a local placement agency collaborate with Senior 911 and Homecare Everywhere to be a solution as well?
That's a great question, and great points that you made with that, Mark. I will tell you, we have several placement agencies that refer to us. Oasis Senior Advisors in Forsyth County, go
Mm-hmm.
Laura Banner and Kelly Rasmussen,
Mm-hmm.
some of my ladies.
Yeah.
I refer to them in particular, or name them in particular, because they really refer to us a lot, and the relationship is so important because
Mm.
and that we collaborate and giving back and forth, right?
Yeah.
So the calls come, you try to place, they're not ready for placement, they want home care, they want answers. And sometimes it's not even just the services that we can provide, it's the resource. I've had calls
Right.
from other placement agencies. Hey, Sonja, do you know of any personal care homes that accept Medicaid, or do you know
Mm.
anybody that accepts, someone that's further in their journey with behaviors, and with,
Right.
with dementia? So the collaboration with all parts of the industry, senior placement, home care, we work together with our collective resources, not just our
Mm-hmm.
services. And I tell anybody who refers to us, first thing I always say is we may not be the answer for you. We
Right.
may not be the one that you want to go with. You have choices, and it's okay. If it's meant for us,
Mm.
it will be there. But allow us to be a resource, allow us to help you navigate. And because the
Right.
one thing you said is ministry. And I always talk about that. You cannot do this for the money because you'll
Right.
never get paid what the work is worth. You
Right.
have to have a minister's heart,
Yeah.
a servant heart to do this and to do it effectively. And
Mm.
even my staff, even down to my staff, I always tell them when we hire, it's covenant relationships. So that means not just the people that work for us, but the people that work with us. I want
Mm-hmm.
covenant partnerships. That means there's nothing transactional. It's all about love, and we do what we do to better the end goal, not
Mm.
to look for gain on either side.
Yeah. That is awesome. And I it gets back to home care everywhere, to where uh, it is going to bring so much needed help. Like you're saying, I'm preaching to the choir with you. You come across clients that need your services
Mm-hmm.
and they're just not quite there financially.
Yep.
This would be such a way to help fill that gap, to where, okay,
Absolutely.
you're able to, because obviously there's a cost to doing business, right? There's
Oh
overhead
yeah.
or whatever,
Oh yeah.
but to open this up for caregivers to have the opportunity to make some extra money, and it's not costing, the family as much, but they're getting the service they so desperately need. So
Absolutely.
this is going to make such a difference. Well,
And
I know before the show you had spoken about what's close to your heart, and so let's say, and I think that's one of the reasons you're in Dallas. So let's bring up the second annual Alzheimer and Brain Health Awareness Conference. So speak on that if you want.
absolutely. So I'm in Dallas right now, as we know in the industry. should know, June is Alzheimer's and Brain Health Awareness Month. And so last year, Senior 911, we had our first conference. We did it at Town Square over there in Dunwoody. It
Mm-hmm.
had a great turnout, resources. It was awesome. And so we said, you know what, we're going to do this every year. So this is our second annual. So here in Dallas, I'm doing something similar. I'm collaborating with some people here, some organizations, Alzheimer's Association, Melanin Minded, Dr. Fayron Epps. They're all here, and we're doing something Saturday. And I have the honor of being keynote speaker there. But the conference that we're doing, that you're speaking about in particular, is in Atlanta, and it benefits Angel 911. So
Okay.
I don't want to leave that out, because every ticket price after we pay for the conference itself is going to benefit Angel 911, which is our nonprofit that provides free respite services to those who cannot
Wow.
afford home care. I cannot stress enough, Senior 911 has really taken wings and people know the name, but Angel 911 deserves a lot more sun, because
Mm.
it is the heart of what we do, and is why we do. Even through Senior 911, we give free care. Somebody will call and say, hey, I can't afford it, but can you help? And we do those things because, again, what are we doing it for, right?
Mm.
But Angel 911 is that precedence. It gives that free respite. So we'll send a caregiver, a companion only. Won't be any hands-on care. It'll be companion
Right.
only.
Okay. Yeah. Right. Right.
But they'll go out and do a 4-hour block or an 8-hour block and just give somebody a break who just needs to
Oh my gosh, that is
read a
incredible.
book, take a moment, go walk the park, go take a nap, right?
Yeah.
We'll do that, and that's funded through Angel 911. And this conference is, the theme this year is non-pharmaceutical modalities for the treatment of dementia and other brain disorders. We got music therapy, we've got cannabis therapy, we've got hyperbaric
Mm.
oxygen therapy. We're talking CTE, we're talking trauma and brain health.
Wow.
I've got speakers from DC to here in Texas, Milwaukee. When I tell you it's a lineup, Mark, and people, I'm surprised more people have not already bought their tickets for this. I've
Yeah.
gotten some sponsorships, so we are giving some free tickets to caregivers, and some caregivers have been getting it for free. But again, every dime after we pay for it goes to Angel 911. And I got to get on my soapbox. If you are what you say you are about, the folks in the industry, you'd be supporting this.
Yeah. And when? What are the dates again?
June 21st and June 22nd. June 21st is an evening of jazz, networking, and dialogue. There's going to be a short screening of a documentary called Remember Me, about dementia in the
Mm.
African
Yeah.
American community. And that's from 6 to 9. And there will be a dialogue about that. And then the conference Saturday is 8 to 3. Breakfast, lunch provided. I mean, resources, and all the 3 workshops and general session. It's full, full,
It's
full, full
loaded.
of information.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, that is fantastic. I really appreciate you taking the time, especially traveling,
Yeah.
to jump on here. So, what would you like to share before we close out? Is there anything you like to? Because I always like to try to leave some value of just personal reflection. And you had mentioned your own family, and
Sure.
I always talk about my mom and dad and just how real
Absolutely.
this is, right? And
Absolutely.
I think it cannot be said enough that even when we're all in the profession, when it's your own family, it changes things because you're
It,
so close to the situation.
it does.
And I find myself not being able to handle some situations to where when you talk about what you do with the respite services, and just like probably you and many other people, I'm a member of some caring for elderly groups, Facebook groups,
Mm-hmm.
and some of the stories that are shared in there are just so depressing
It
when you
is.
see what people are going through and how so many families don't even like each other and
You
don't get
know,
along.
it's in crisis that you see the true colors of true fabric of families in crisis.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
they always say what's in you is going to come out. When pressure squeezes you,
Mhm.
what's in you is coming out. So if it's good, it's good. If it's ugly, it's ugly. We can't get lost in that, though. there's
Mm.
there's a greater good at the end of it. and that is caring for someone. I think the key, though, is to also remember the family is very much the center of this. And sometimes that loved one that has dementia that we're struggling to care for, just anyone, somebody sick, whoever we're caring for, sometimes they're so far in their journey, the care is not even really, it doesn't resound with them. They don't even really understand what's going on.
Understand what's going on. Yeah.
But that family caregiver who's in the middle of it is the person that we have to give a little extra love to, an extra touch.
Mm.
And I did mention my father and my mother, and my dad. He's cool. He's cool in the game. He's the one dealing with the Alzheimer's. And although he has his struggles and his challenges and his fears, and we spoke on that, it's my mom who I'm watching deteriorate.
Yeah.
Going from depression to anger to resentment to fear, and back again, and loneliness, and what next. And I'm scared. And to hear her, it's hard. And sometimes we focus so much on my dad that she got lost in the shuffle, and we take a step back now. And we're like, wait a minute, we gotta make sure she's okay, because if she's not okay,
wow,
the person she's caring for is going to suffer, right?
I'm glad you shared that, because that's like we're kind of witnessing with mom and dad is got to pay attention to dad, because there's been so much focus on mom. And I'll speak for myself, and everybody's different. Everybody's entitled. I just try to be as transparent as I can for those that may, struggle with the same things. But I think it would be normal, and I say that because it's me sharing how I feel. Sometimes it gets so awkward and uncomfortable watching your in my case, mom suffer, and then dad's suffering, watching it all, is you can find yourself wanting to stiff arm the situation and wanting to avoid it, because it's not easy to witness and deal with and watch. So I struggle with that greatly.
I do as well. I appreciate that transparency.
Yeah. And it's tough, so that's why, meeting people like you and seeing what you're doing, I can't congratulate you enough, and thank you for whatever that's worth, that you're doing it, and putting your best foot forward, because there's a lot of hurt and suffering out there, and it's a very difficult and challenging time in people's lives. And it's very sobering too, getting older myself. You're just like, God, wow, Jesus, come back. Don't let me taste that. Right. So
it's to your point, when we help other families, we're patient, and we're dealing with it, and we're helping. But our own families, it's a different walk. And it's thank God I have a great brother. I have an older brother, and he's not in the industry. He's in real estate in New York, but he is way more compassionate with our parents than me. I think I get into my heroic mode, my stoic. I get very stoic with it, right? But he is very much he just melts with my parents. And so I thank God that I have him there, because he gives that peace where I'm all business. This is what we need to do, handle this, go here. I know methodically what to do and how to handle, but he just stops and he's like, let's just cut dad's hair.
Well, in all fairness, though, I think it's part of you. You've been a nurse, Sonja, for
Thank you.
You're doing what you know to do. So don't.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that you are, but don't take that as a knock on yourself, because you're just doing how you know how to do things, and you're used to taking care of other families and situations. So you're just being yourself, right? And that's how you handle it. So it's good that your brother's there to offset that.
Yeah.
But Sonja, I want to thank you once again. So with that, we will sign off. And one more last time, here is the website and the phone number if anybody wants to get in touch with Sonja and her opportunities and find out more information about Homecare Everywhere as that develops out. So with that said, thanks for everybody tuning in, and anybody that comes across this episode. Even if I'm long gone, I hope something is left of value to make a difference in someone's life. So until then, we will see you next time.
Absolutely. Thank you.